Sports fans,
Sports lovers.
welcome back to another episode, another live episode of Global Sports from Caribbean Perspective. The ultimate things for all things sports. The best games, the best teams, the best players, the best takes on global sports from a Caribbean perspective. I'm your host today, Shaba, and I'm here with
Dops.
and we continue to turn our passion into purpose. And as always, we have a packed show for you today. European football is back. CPL action is going on and the world of sports is active again. So the Premier League is about to start this weekend. La Liga started last weekend partially, and the rest of the big five leagues would kick off next week. So we're going to preview La Liga and the Barclays Premier League, give our predictions, our takes, speak about the new signings, the new coaches, and what we're going to expect this season. And then after that, we'll talk about La Liga and preview La Liga as well. So let's get straight into it with this day in history. And I'll let Dappy take over.
Yeah, this felt like just the other day, to be honest, but in 2008, Jamaican sprinting legend Usain Bolt blew out with a competition at the Beijing Olympics, setting a new men's 200-meter record with an astonishing time of 19.30. As I said, bro, it just felt like, just the other day, and it's crazy. It's 18 years ago.
Crazy.
In 2023, Spain's women's national football team defeated England 1-0 in Sydney to win its first ever Women's World Cup final. With their win at the 2026 Men's FIFA World Cup, Spain are the first team to hold both titles simultaneously. That was this day in history, and let's look straight ahead to the English Premier League preview.
And let's start with the Big Six, the traditional Big Six, and we'll obviously start with the champions, Arsenal. So Arsenal is coming into this season as champions for the first time in over 20 years, and they'll be huge favourites to retain. They've added even more depth and will be at least 2 deep in each position. They looked extremely impressive in the Community Shield as well versus Man City, and they look to start as they mean to carry on versus Coventry on Friday tomorrow when the Premier League begins. So where do we begin with Arsenal? They try to upgrade their squad this summer. Try to acquire Vinicius from Real Madrid. They signed Christos Solis, Bruno Guimaraes as well from Newcastle, which is a significant signing, and recently confirmed Ezri Konsa. Arsenal, I'd say, would be the overwhelming favourite to retain the title. How say you, Dappy?
Yeah, I would have to agree, bro. Compared to all the other title challengers, and I put that in quotation marks, Arsenal are the only ones who really have remained, consistent and constant in terms of the coach and the players, the backbone. Everyone is there. People have been there for, 5 years plus, and they just have been reinforcing as the years go by with centre-backs and midfielders like Eze, Gyökeres in the strikers department, and even so still he came in, he scored the goals that were necessary, but he's like Havertz is still favoured, so I think that they are putting all the right pieces together for their puzzle, and consistency is all that is required. The defense is something else, the best in Europe. It's hard to really get past them, and as we said last season, it doesn't matter who is there. It could be Gabriel and Saliba, Mascara, Hincapié, it doesn't matter. It's still, serious defensive.
Yeah, I feel like Arsenal have the most continuity amongst the title challengers, as you put it, and they'd be overwhelming favourites, I'd have to say, in terms of them going back-to-back Premier League champions. As we mentioned, they signed someone, we spoke about him off camera, Christos Solis from the Belgium League, right? And his stats were very impressive in that league. He's now come over, he's had a very impressive preseason, had 2 assists in the Community Shield as well. What do we expect from Arsenal? Because last season they played a more defensive style, and there was a lot of criticism for that, and I'd say rightfully so. But eventually they got over the line, so I guess Arteta could say it worked in his favor, in the team's favor. So, but can we expect an evolution in terms of their style of play, or do you think it'd be much more the same?
I think with Solis you would get a bit more invention up front, especially in the final third, able to create a bit more, especially against lower blocks where they have seemed to struggle a bit, apart from just crossing the ball and hoping that someone is there to get it. And they might be a bit more intricate with the likes of him and Odegaard linking up and Havertz there. So yeah, I could see a bit more. And spoiler alert, I believe that Christos Solis is going to be the leading assist maker in the Premier League this season?
Well, bro, that's an extremely hot take straight off the bat, and based on his performance in the Community Shield and the way he seems to have adapted already to Arteta's attack and his ideas, might not be a bad shout after all. But 1 second, as we are about to take a quick intermission, guys. We'll be back very shortly. Yeah, so we're back and we are going to continue the conversation on Arsenal. Dappy just had a hot take, one of the early hot takes of the season, that Christos Solis is going to be the leading assist maker in the Premier League this season. And as I mentioned before we went off air briefly, I don't think it's a bad shout. It might sound like a really, really hot take, but when you really saw how he integrated with Arsenal and the way his previous stats as
You would have to admit, fans of the modern era of Manchester City, the Pep Guardiola era of Manchester City, the financial backing Manchester City, they have not necessarily experienced a Manchester City that, doesn't have that strong leadership or identity. And it's just going to be interesting to see where they go from Pep. I mean, Pep is such an imposing figure, means so much to world football. I mean, I know they still have world-class players. There's still a world-class number 9 at the club, but I'm not sure how it's going to be without Pep there. I can't see how it's going to be, especially given that, he didn't exactly go out in a blaze of glory. It has to be said they really struggled last season.
Yeah. This is gonna be the first season without Pep in 10 years, so it's definitely gonna be a changing of the guard and a new era for this Manchester City team. Those players were stalling during that time, so it's gonna be very interesting to see how Enzo Maresca in Dappy.
It's just a seismic structural shift, as you said.
A huge one.
Moving from Rodri, moving from Pep. Rodri gave you that control and that security, and now the marquee signing, Elliot Anderson, is more of a dynamic back. And at this point, I really don't see them finishing.
And they sort of look.
The transfer window is going to be very interesting to see in the midfield and attacking areas. They do have a good bit of depth in defense, I'd say. The likes of Ruben Diaz, Gojasco Vario, Ryan Aitnouri, Nico Riley. They have depth in the defense, Mateus Nunes and Kushner. But in the midfield and attack, bro, they're lacking big time.
Let's head over to the other side of Manchester then and talk about Man United. Shaba, first full season for Carrick.
Official. It's facts. If the league started when Carrick took over, basically United would have won the league, and that's a huge sample size, right? That says a lot, right? So he took them from 7th, where they were under Ruben Amorim, and all the way up to 3rd. They're back in the Champions League, and they've made some good signings, so expectations will be high. Some fans still have their doubts, rightfully so as well, because the ultimate goal for Manchester United in Premier League is to win it. It's not to challenge for the top 4, because it's been some time since they've won it. That's 2013.
Yep.
So we're going on 13, 14 years now. So United fans would have all right to feel that they could be as much of a challenger to Arsenal as anybody.
They should. How you feel about the additions though, Dappy? The confirmed ones at least, Tielemans, Santos, Rashford is back from now on.
So a leader, so they might be missing that factor. But I think the replacements, Yuri Tillman, Andre Santos are decent replacements, not like for like. Carlos Baliba, on the other hand, if he does come in, I think it gives them a boost. He didn't have the best of seasons last season, but it does give them a boost, does give them squad depth. And I just feel another attacker, maybe even if they try to go get Bakola, or even just a number 9, Osimhen, something, just to put them over the top and really challenge Arsenal and go a little far in the Champions League, because they have to now contend in the
Both
Champions League.
competitions.
What about your friend Nicholas Jackson? He's on the market.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he could,
Be a good
give
bench
them
option.
give them more verticality at least than Sesko and a Joshua Zirkzee.
But let me ask you, why you think is United's best midfield combination? Well, obviously Bruno in the 10, but who has the 2 behind them? Who you feel? Because I feel like Kobe Mano, after the season he had, it would be very harsh for him to just be dropped out of the starting 11 for Yuri Tielemans. Despite the quality, I've always rated Yuri Tielemans, so it's not a slight against Tielemans, but just based on hierarchy and the way Kobe has played over the last a few seasons, and then I guess Andre Santos would be the other starter until Baliba is there to give him more competition. What we're really asking is who you think deserves to start out of Mino and Tielemans, because I feel like that is the only position.
I feel like it all has to complement Bruno as well.
True.
Forget what I'm saying.
True.
Because as much as he does create chances, those chances tend to have a bit of risk in them and cause turnovers and that kind of thing. And I feel like Mino might be the better fit in terms of
Off the ball.
physicality, because Yuri isn't known for that. Yuri is a more technical player, really gifted in terms of how he strikes the ball. He does put in the hard work, but I think Mino would be, a more physical challenge in the midfield for any.
But seeing that they play in the likes Hull and I think Ipswich in the second game as well. Maybe those games would suit Tielemans more, and then the rougher games would then suit Mino.
But if the Carlos Baliba transfer is confirmed, then I think it spells danger for
Andre Santos, I feel.
For Andre Santos.
Okay, so what you feel would be the best combination if they do get
Baliba,
out of the 4, Baliba and Tielemans with Bruno ahead? And that's fair. That's fair because Baliba is the only one out of the 4 who is physically imposing as Casemiro was, so he could provide that presence in the defensive midfield.
All right, let's head on over to Moses. Liverpool, 5th place finish last season. Second season in charge for Arne Slot. Unfortunately, it really didn't go well, up and down. More than that, I saw Araujo in the training.
Yeah, but I feel like in probably last three or so seasons, that's probably Liverpool, apart from Szoboszlai, that's probably Liverpool most consistent player, and
who is speaking
Cody Gakpo.
It's true, yeah, for sure.
You get me?
And I feel he gets a lot of flack as well.
100%, but I think he has scored crucial goals, and yeah, I think Liverpool are equipped to really challenge this season. Arsenal is a tough task, and we've seen it. City couldn't do it, so it would be a tough task and a tough ask for Andoni to remove them and take the trophy. But I believe that he could give them a really good fight.
I feel like Liverpool's problem is similar to Man City's in terms of attacking depth and midfield depth as well, because I just saw Curtis Jones left for Inter Milan as well, and Curtis Jones might not be the most flashy player, but he's a player that comes in every now and then, gives rest to the likes of Gravenberch and Szoboszlai every now and then. Not Szoboszlai plays every game, but gives rest to McAllister and the likes, because aside from McAllister, Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, the midfield is a bit thin.
From long time.
Who was there otherwise? Who's there to play? And Gravenberch is not a 6. Gravenberch was always a number 8 who likes to drive forward. They basically turn him into a defensive midfielder and ask him to do that work. He's done it brilliantly because of his technical ability and his defensive strengths as well. But that's not his natural position. I'm not seeing them linked to any CDMs as well. So they're currently in the market for Bradley Barcola and currently looking to ship Gakpo off to Tottenham. So I'm not sure what the plan is necessarily. They're betting big on the likes of Rio, Engomoa, and Victor Munoz, who signed from Real Madrid. So Ekitike is still out on injury. You know what I'm saying? Votes and Isak didn't have the best 4 seasons, so it's a lot of uncertainty. The only constants I'd say in that team would be Sobersley and the likes of Virgil van Dijk, Alisson in the goal. But otherwise than that, for me, is a bit of a unknown, because even though Corkers and Frimpong they are very weak defensively, and who are their backups? Semikas on the left back,
and Bradley.
and Conor Bradley, who's injured. So we might see Sobersley at right back sometimes still, and you know what I'm saying? So Salah is gone now. And remember all the chanting that Salah used to get. Salah used to be saving Liverpool a lot over the seasons that he was there. So I guess we'll really see the impact, and the numbers that he used to produce every season aren't easy to replace. So the likes of Isak, as you mentioned, and Gakpo will have big boots to fill.
All right, we'll see how it goes for the Reds. How about the Blues? No. Chelsea finishing 10th last season, however. We know that they have a Liverpool connection. Now, Xabi Alonso will be the 5th different coach on the Premier League opening day for Chelsea over the past 5 seasons.
That's crazy.
Maintaining their record of,
changing a
coach every season. He's following Leon Rossanoa, Enzo Maresca, Mauricio Pochettino, and Thomas Tuchel. Wow.
5 different coaches.
He'll be looking to provide some stability at the club, and there's seemingly no stability managerial-wise at Chelsea, and even higher up in the boardroom. No European competitions, however, for Xabi Alonso to worry about, so I guess he can lock in like he did with Leverkusen and, try to build something special. What say you, Daps? They got some signings and they got some departures. As usual, Chelsea always
active in the transfer.
Tons and tons and tons of qualities just for the manager to use them and expose what he wants. And if he overs, Morgan Rogers, but you have Cole Palmer, you still have Estevao, and you're wondering how we're going to line up with these 3. Is Morgan Rogers going to be deployed on the left? Or is he going to be sitting behind Joe Pedro? Or is Joe, it's still a bit too...
Based on preseason, it's a back 3, and it have
Palestra
and Neto wing back, Joe Pedro, Rogers, and Palmer. Front 3, Estevao bench.
Estevao bench.
Yeah, Estevao bench. So I guess in certain games, you could play a back 4 with Estevao. Estevao right wing. And Jordan Henderson.
Tons of quality. It's just for the manager to set it out and execute. I really don't know Margaret is the boy, and I want to see them do good, but I'm not too sure if this is how this Chelsea team is supposed to play. If you get me, they did look good in the preseason against Sociedad, but then they lost a few games. I think he went like 3 games without a win before he actually, got his first win. So it did take some tweaking in order to get to that point. So I feel like it's still gonna take a bit of walking out in the league. While there are players who know the league, I still feel like the manager still has to find that chemistry.
I'm high on Chelsea this season. Higher than I am on Liverpool and another team. I think we spoke about City, because where those 2 teams are lacking in depth, Chelsea are not. And where those other 2 teams have European competitions to focus on as well, the Champions League, Chelsea do not. And as you mentioned, Xabi Alonso has the opportunity to lock in what he did with Bayer Leverkusen, 1 game a week. And, he just has to put out his best 11 and get the job done. I feel like they could be a title challenger. It might be a hard take, but I feel like they could be potentially a title contending team as well. I'm also very high on João Pedro this season. He's looked on fire in the preseason. He'll have fire in his belly as well after not being called up for the Brazil national team. He's been given the number 9 this season as well. Because Chelsea number 9, but I feel like his quality and the platform that Xabi Alonso is going to put him in a position that he's going to score a lot of goals. And Cole Palmer as well, another player who didn't make the World Cup. So they have the quality. They have the quality, and they have both. Those players have bones to pick. The defense is still a question, because Robert Sanchez is gonna be the goalkeeper still, and we never sure about him.
They haven't really improved there.
No
Yeah,
Cucurella.
since Courtois left, they haven't really. No, well, Edouard Mendy, I'd have to say they never really brought back a world class goalkeeper, but they brought in Maxence, Lacroix. They took had to go with Colwell and the likes of Fofana, Rich James, and the likes at the back, even though they lost Cucurella. So Palestra as well as an exciting signing
And then Barco.
and Valentin Barco. So they have lots and lots of depth. Romeo Lavia to go with Caicedo
I
and
think
Enzo.
Kenda, who played for Amorim in Scotland.
Quenda as well, he's another big money signing.
Yeah,
so
they just signed him.
so they have depth. They can basically put out two strong starting 11s, and I think that they'll have they'll give Arsenal a run for the money as well. They'll be one of the teams up there for sure.
Right. So we have some good permutations so far dealing with, most of the big six. Let's deal with, we say the outside child, not the big six.
Yeah, they've been that for the past couple seasons.
And they were really the outside child last season, boys. 17th place finish for Spurs. Deserby though took the wheel mid-season, and thank God he did, else we might be talking about Tottenham Hotspur in the championship. But he had a whole summer, he had a pre-season to get the team ready, make sure that they're ready to compete again this season. They have a lot of signings as well. I would say the departure of Christian Romero and Jet Spence would probably be some losses that they're going to feel. You could see the big buy coming for Spence. You could see that.
Yeah, for sure.
That team was going to come and pick him up, but I'm not sure how letting go Romero is going to help Spurs this season.
I think I on Spurs actually. I feel like the man will end up at least in the Europa League fifth. Although signing Sandro Tonali, Matheus Fernandes, Van Heck, Andrew Robertson, and Marco Senesi are Premier League proven players. They haven't bought potential.
Every single one of them.
The season passed, the signs of Archie Gray and the Lucas Borgvals and the Xavi Simons, all that was players who
Experiments.
Out of the league.
And we basically buying potential to see if they could take us over the top, and it led them to 2 consecutive 17 place finishes in the Premier League. So Deserby, we've known him for about a few years now.
We know his style.
We know his style. He asks teams to come on to him. He will dilly-dally on the ball in the back with the centre backs. Asks teams to come on to them and try to punish them with quick passes through them. And if Spurs can pull that off, I could see. I don't even think it matters who is on the field. I just feel the type of football Deserby plays. It is just electric, and it just calls for goals. And we saw it Brighton before we knew who Trossard was and the likes. We saw it with Solly Marsh. He made those players look like wall stars.
Yeah.
So
João Pedro at Brighton, correct.
So I feel like good things are coming for Spurs fans. It's been a long time coming, and Deserby could cause havoc this season.
I agree for the most part, because they've made some really smart summer signings, and where Manchester United were linked to Matheus Fernandes and refused to pay the price. I feel like the price they paid, around 80 million for him, would look like a bargain in a few years from now, because he's a really, really good player, along with Sandro Tonali, and that's instantly one of the best midfields in the Premier League, instantly between those two players. And then you have the likes of James Maddison or whoever in the number 10 position. You're telling me that isn't a very, very solid midfield compared to how we were just discussing Man City and how they're lacking in midfield. Currently, Man City only really has Elliot Anderson and Mateo Kovacic as midfielders. They lost Rodri. Nico Gonzalez is injured. Tijani Reinders is leaving for Saudi Arabia. So really and truly, it's only Elliot Anderson and Mateo Kovacic. If you look at Spurs' midfield, you have to say objectively that Spurs have a better midfield than Man City at this moment. And I don't even feel like that is controversial to say, bro. So I'm also high on Tottenham, because I feel like Deserby, with 1 game per week, just like Xabi Alonso will do. He will do the dog.
Yeah.
In colloquial slang. He will do the dog, because they only lacking a bit up front, and they're trying to improve, as we see. They just agreed to sign Savinho. They're still trying to get Cody Gakpo, because they know that's where they're lacking. They have good defenders as well in Van Heck Van der Ven is still at the club.
And like you
so
said,
the
the
World Cup.
chance for Palace is clearly, like you said, to get proven.
Correct.
Premier League
The World
players.
Cup winning right back is there as well, Pedro Porro. So I am also very high on Tottenham. When we get to our predictions, we'll see how high.
All right. Let's get into the best of the rest segment. Shaba has some talks to put on the Europa League champions, so we'll save them for last in this segment. So we'll talk about some of the others. You have Newcastle, Nottingham Forest, Crystal Palace, Bournemouth, and Fulham, all appointing new coaches. You have Matthias at Newcastle, you have Oliver Glasner at Nottingham Forest, you have Pierre Sage at Crystal Palace, Marco Rose at Bournemouth, and a familiar face for
Arbeloa,
the two panelists. Alvaro Arbeloa is at Fulham. All varying levels of expectations, of course, at these different clubs, but would you say that this, new injection of managers into the Premier League is going to make for some good viewing this year, especially amongst the minnows?
Yeah, I think so, because there's a lot of unknown in terms of the coaches. We know Oliver Glasner from his time at Palace, but the others, the mid-table type teams and bring them up better. But it will be interesting to see how the mid-table type teams and bring them up better. But it will be interesting to see how Crystal Palace evolves under Pierre Sage. And I'm also worried a bit for Newcastle because they've lost Tonali, Bruno Guimaraes in this summer as well. Anthony Gordon went to Barca. We'll get to that. And I'm not certain what the future is for them. Who was their coach again? What was his name? Eddie Howe. Eddie Howe was one of the most consistent coaches in the league over the past few years as well. And Newcastle always used to be in and around the top 6. But now, I ain't sure, what's going to happen for them next season. So out of those teams, I'm interested to see Palace, and I'm worried for Newcastle.
All right, those are the teams that have changed their managers. Other teams, however, teams like Brighton, Everton, Sunderland, Brentford, and Leeds, they are continuing with their managers. These are the teams that will be looking, of course, to challenge for those European spots once again. Any standout from amongst that batch?
Probably just Brentford for me. We sent them down into the championship in our predictions last. Well, I did in our predictions last season, and they showed us that they were relentless and they weren't going down. Shada, Dangotara, Thiago, they basically held together their core.
Brought in Jadon Anthony as well.
So I feel like they still have that familiarity there, and the coach has been doing well. So I think that they could be the surprise package this season.
I want to have a word on Everton, who don't necessarily be ever in the relegation battle, but not necessarily in the running for Europe either. So they're always, about in mid-table. So we don't really have a chance to really discuss them. But David Moyes has been doing a fantastic job with Everton. One has to say over the past few years, and they always come in with an upset now and then. They basically won the league for Arsenal last season in that game against Man City. So just shout out to David Moyes. They did some business as well in the summer and just maintained basically. So I expect them to finish around the same position, 10th, 11th, and be safe in the Premier League for another season. Sunderland will be in the Europa League or the Conference League this season. So that's going to be a challenge to them. And another team from this list I wanted to shout out is Leeds. They brought in the likes of Harry Wilson, and they'll be looking to go to another level next season. I feel like Leeds would be my surprise package for this season for sure.
From that group.
Yeah, from that group. Yeah.
All right, let's talk before we move to the newly promoted teams about, of course, the Europa League champions. Dappy, I gotta get start on Aston Villa, and they have
Some big names out: Morgan Rogers, SG Cancer, Tielemans, and Digne.
Emi Martinez might go as well.
And I cannot say that the replacements.
Is that something you agree with? That was my take, but is it what do
Emi?
you think? No, as in the replacements they brought in.
Shava said, he don't really think that the replacements are...
No, I don't think they're up to the similar standard. Even probably the only one there
Manzambi,
who I might say is better than has potential to be better than is the Ruggieri
at left back.
At left back, I could see something there, But Joao Gomez is a solid player, but he doesn't give me...
Steady Eddie.
Stylistically, he don't give me anything close to Tielemans. You get me?
Nothing close.
Manzambi probably a closer bet to Morgan Rogers, but I don't think he is, as polished.
He's unknown.
Yeah, so
Watkins might leave.
it could be a tough season, honestly speaking.
This is one of the things in the Premier League, man. There's a lot of money in the league, but from time to time, you tend to see certain clubs, biding their time and picking their moments. Sometimes you see them build up and have a lot of talent, and then other times,
Aston Villa literally in the Champions League. I don't understand. They won the Europa League last season, so as a result, they're in the Champions League, and their squad has basically been downgraded to a Europa League type team. No disrespect to the players there. I mean, the likes of when they are.
Well, maybe they're looking to
go back to that level. I don't understand.
I would be shocked if there was a single Aston Villa fan that jumped and said hooray when Garnacho signed for the club.
Yeah, no, because Garnacho has been, chastised a lot for his poor performances over the past couple seasons, and to see Aston Villa bring him in was baffling to me, because I didn't think he deserved a move of that caliber. But maybe Unai Emery sees something in him that we don't, and we know he's a developer of talent. And we've seen in the UEFA Super Cup, Brian Maggio, this huge, tall, strapping striker look very promising for them. So maybe he's one to watch as well.
All right. We're going to touch a bit on the newly promoted teams, getting you familiar with them, or, familiarizing yourselves again with some teams that we knew from before. Ipswich Town, last season's champions in the championship, and they've been promoted. They secured an automatic return to the top flight on the final day under McKenna, but McKenna has since departed for Brighton, and Gary O'Neill now steps in to guide them through to their second Premier League stint. Obviously, they're going to rely on their tight-knit squad, the cohesion in them, and along with that high-intensity style that we know, and hoping O'Neill's sort of survival instinct in the Premier League would keep them clear of that relegation zone. They've signed the likes of Dara O'Shea. They've also signed Ogbene, as well as another player. Smodix. As well as some departures from their team. Ipswich looking to prove that they're not just champions in the championship, but perhaps that they could stay up in the Premier League. The team that they beat to second place is also up. Coventry City has gained automatic promotion as well. Mark Robbins finally restoring the Sky Blues to the Premier League.
Lampard is the coach.
Well, yeah, Lampard has restored, the Sky Blues to the Premier League after a phenomenal high-scoring automatic promotion campaign. Obviously just missing out on that top place finish, but getting that automatic promotion. Still, you have to say, they're gonna face much tougher opposition this time around now. Sort of baptism of fire. Who they're facing first?
The champions.
Tomorrow.
What kind of welcome is that? Nevertheless, they might be fearless. Fluid attacking philosophy means that they're going to be at least one of the most unpredictable sides, and perhaps one of the most entertaining sides to watch this season.
On hold before you get to Hull, because this is the problem with the championship format to get promotion now. Hull actually finished 6th in the championship last season. 6th, right? But just because they win the 2 playoff games, I think they won one and penalties as well, they were promoted. Hull was one of the worst teams for XG last season, one of the worst teams for XG against. And it's actually shocking that they got promoted. So I think that promotion system needs to be revised a bit, because I feel like Hull, I don't even feel we need to get much into Hull. I feel like Hull gonna be
for sure
the worst team in the Premier League this season by far. Right? I don't feel like they're gonna put up much of a challenge starting this week.
Well, 3 points for Michael Carrick.
I'm telling you something. We could come back to this next week, but I feel like that's automatic 3 points.
All right, well, let's get into some predictions for the Premier League before we switch over to Spain and La Liga 2026-2027. Champions. Hold on, no, let me don't start there. All right, let me don't start there. Let me say your breakout player, Lappy.
I put me forward on a breakout player for the Premier League. I say Christos Solis.
Crystal Solis from Arsenal.
From Arsenal.
Yeah, and I'll go Rio Engomor from Liverpool.
Alright.
Should have a breakout campaign.
2 good shots, 2 youngsters, 2 promising players as well. Surprise team.
Brentford.
What kind of change tune is this? what kind of change tune is this? Last year, you said the man of them can get relegated. Now you're talking about the man of them is surprise package.
Brentford.
All right, bossy.
My surprise packages would be Fulham. A bit biased, but I'm gonna go with it because the players are unknown. Gonzalo Garcia especially, and Cesar Palacios. Look out for Fulham to cause an upset this weekend. And very ironically, the last 2 Real Madrid managers will be facing an opening day on this weekend when Fulham take on Chelsea, Xabi Alonso and Alvaro Arbeloa. So I'll definitely be a Fulham fan on Saturday.
I'll go for not necessarily maybe a surprise package, but I think Chelsea are gonna be a lot more solid than a lot of people expect this season. Chelsea,
yeah,
Xabi Alonso
for sure.
is that type. He's just that guy. All right. Well, since you don't change your tune and you tell me Brentford is surprise package, who's going to get relegated?
The 3 teams.
Outsider or Garman?
Okay, all right.
All for sure.
Well, your prediction is the 3 teams
yeah,
to go
yours is
down.
yours.
But just like what I asked Afghan, who's the team in the league you feel at most danger going down? Who was already in the league?
After you bring it to my attention, and I see them man building Castilla be over there.
Fulham.
Fulham.
As one of the teams in danger.
As one of the teams in the Premier League already
danger.
who in the danger.
In danger. You feel Arbeloa could pull it out?
I just feel like just like Newcastle, them man lost a bit of quality, but Newcastle still has quality there to keep them above. But I feel like bringing in players who I not sure about
what the level would be in the
Palacios,
Premier League.
the overs, but yeah, I'm not too sure about it, bro.
It's definitely a big bet that Fulham taking.
Plus the last Harry Wilson.
Yeah, the last Harry Wilson
who
as a
had
free
10
agent.
goals and was 7 assists or 6
Yeah, he was
assists,
the MVP last season.
So
for sure. Fulham. All right. From my relegation, and I'll say Hull and Ipswich. But I wanna say that Coventry and Lampard will stay up for some reason, and just based on the transfer window that Newcastle had and the players that they lost, bro. I don't think it would be much of a surprise if Newcastle are at least down within the relegation zone, bro, because they lost some serious players and they lost their coach, their long-standing coach. And it's gonna be a tough one for them, I feel. And another team who is also in the Premier League who I think could be in trouble is Palace. Yeah, because they're also looking to ship off Ismail Assar, which I'm not certain why, because he's probably their best attacking player. And I don't understand that. And they also let go Glasner, who's gone to somebody who you would consider their rival in the table. Nottingham Forest. So I feel like Palace could also be in trouble.
Palace should be in trouble. All right, let's get to some more interesting awards. So the best players. Let me go for top scorer.
Okay. All right.
What you have?
Yeah, next.
We have
Next.
top scorer.
Next question. Next question.
Oh God, man. So we are more entertained.
No, a more interesting question is who would come second.
All right, cool. I ain't asking that question either. It's as much of a toss-up as anything else.
Yeah, telling you. I feel like
that's so crazy.
I feel like
first place is show and second place is anybody's game.
Yeah, I feel like Haaland, despite any kind of bad form or changing from City or whatever the case may be, the only constant with City would be Haaland scoring goals.
Top assister?
Zolis.
Wow, so breakout player and top assister in his first season in the Premier League. I'm going for Bruno to repeat.
Here first.
I'm going for Bruno to repeat as most assister in the Premier League.
Not bad. I think Manu would be finishing high enough for him to possibly even challenge for the record again.
Yeah, very, very much so. Corners, these kind of things. He has some gunmen in front of him. If we're being fair, like Acuna and Mbuemo.
We just give the attackers and thing a lot of credit. So I want to know who get Golden Glove and who going get, let me say, best defender.
Raya again will get the Golden Glove because I think Arsenal will have the best defense again and the most clean sheets, and that's how the Golden Glove
And
is
given that
usually
they have the
decided.
best defense, who
Given
the
that
best defender?
Gabriel again,
I ain't even going to try not.
Gabriel again,
I ain't even going to try.
I feel like Gabriel is now. I won't say he's better than Van Dijk, but
Most-
I think he's established himself as the best defender in the Premier League over the past couple seasons. I mean, some would say William Saliba, his own teammate, is better than him, but I feel like Gabriel's personality, the leadership, everything he brings,
Availability.
his availability, because now Saliba is out for the first few months. I feel like Gabriel has established himself as the best defender in the Premier League, and same goes for Raya as a goalkeeper.
I can't wait until like about November day when they call in Ronald Araujo one of the best defenders in the world. Watch and see. He can make 2 slide tackle versus Arsenal, and you go, hey, oh my God. All right, champions, our top 6. Big 6.
Okay, so I don't think it's
Big
a
six,
I don't
top
think it's
six?
a hot take to say that Arsenal will retain. I'm going out on a limb and saying Arsenal are gonna retain, right? In second, this is where things will get a bit interesting. I'm gonna go for United in second. Then
United.
I'll go for City third, and then Chelsea fourth. Liverpool fifth, and in sixth, boy, that's where I was struggling a bit.
That's okay.
But I was like I said in the preview when we was talking high on Spurs. But I don't feel like the traditional top 6 will be the big 6 again for another season. I feel like a team like Aston Villa or one of those underdog teams, Bournemouth, one of those Brightons might even get up in the top 6. So I want to replace Liverpool from the top 6, put Spurs in 5th, and put someone like Bournemouth in 6th.
In 6th.
Yeah.
That's fair. Happy?
So we're going with Gunners. We're going with the Red Devils in second. In third, we have Liverpool. In fourth, we have Manchester City. No, in fourth, we have Chelsea.
So no top 4 for
No
Maresca.
top four for City. I feel like,
We go see who is Manchester City fans.
5th and 6th.
yeah, tough, eh?
So City 5th.
City feel, I mean,
You can call Spurs. You were high on.
it's crazy.
And keep in mind, bro, right?
It's easy for
Keep-
buy
I-
a Manchester City jersey when it's first and second
Keep in
every
mind,
year.
bro. The transfer. We're making these predictions now, but the transfer window ain't closed.
Right.
Right. So we are these predictions are a bit premature, but just as the season starting,
Yeah,
the
bro.
predictions could change when the transfer window closed. But just for now, Spurs, even though you were high on them in the top 6,
No, Spurs in the top 6, and then Brentford just outside that.
Brentford. So Brentford 6.
7th. So we have Arsenal, Man U,
United,
Liverpool, Chelsea, City,
City,
Spurs,
Spurs, Brentford.
Aston Villa.
Well, but like we say, these predictions are premature because the transfer window will have a lot to say about who finishes where. Because two good for me, before we move on to La Liga, 2 good transfer for City, and City back right up there, back right up
I
there.
just feel like they're lacking a midfielder.
Yeah.
The Reinders thing real weird to me.
Yeah,
Too.
yeah.
I don't want to get back up there. I want to lose real bad so the Haaland will get sad.
And come
I
Madrid.
feel like he already sad. I feel like Haaland already
That's
sad.
what you thinking? Come Madrid.
Come in.
Happy that you thinking, Josh? You crazy?
Right now, when they think, come on, guy, Madrid.
Oh, you got tax?
Yeah, first.
Straight.
Let me go La Liga. Let me go to Spain. Let's go to the home of the World Cup trophy.
Both men and women.
Let's go to one of the most dominant football nations.
The most dominant football nation in the last
I leave in
in
Shabba
this
for
century.
say. I
In
leave
this
I leave in
century.
Shabba
Since
for
the
say.
year 2000.
Let me go to one of the most influential footballing countries.
Everybody playing tiki taka. The most influential.
The place where you find your manager, your sporting director, you can find your striker,
Your midfielder.
your midfielder, your defender, your keeper.
The best keeper in Premier League Spanish.
Come on, man. Come on, man. Don't act like you don't see the influence. But anyhow, the big 3. Not according to Kendrick. Kendrick says just big me. We go start with the champs from last season, Barcelona. Back-to-back reigning champions. We have added the 2026 Golden Ball winner, Rodri, to an already Spanish-heavy team. We'll be looking to win the third consecutive La Liga title, and that's gonna be for the first time since Pep's legendary team won it, 2008 to 2011. Hansi Flick and his men will also be looking to conquer Europe for the first time in a very long time, since 2015. And a lot of disappointments in between littered all over those years. You name the year, you can pick a disappointment. Disappointing performance in Europe from Barcelona over that timing. Lots of major signings: Karim Adeyemi, Anthony Gordon, Rodri, and of course Cancelo, who we've signed. I think that's the third time we've signed Cancelo in the past couple transfer windows.
Man washing.
Major departure, Robert Lewandowski. Minor departures, Ter Stegen, Ronald Araujo.
Daddy body paper?
I tell you again, the only major departure in the list that names it is RL9, Robert Lewandowski.
Nobody World Cup goals.
Who left? Hold on. Who left prime Bayern for come broken Barcelona and ended up being in my top 5 goal scorers ever. Win the league and them thing there for me. And now he realized he didn't have it like that again. There's no bacchanal and no bangarang. He ain't telling me I ain't treating him like he's special and all this kind of things. He just gone. He just run, you know. Ter Stegen hasn't played for the club in a long time, and we know the situation with Ter Stegen. We wanted to move him on for a while. It's just his contract and some unfortunate timing of injuries have kept him from making that move. He's off to Ajax. It's no love lost. And I've said it before, it's no love lost. I think he's still a great goalkeeper. I think that he has to shoulder some of the blame for what's happened in his career, because at a time when it clearly wasn't working out, he refused to really go and play football. And now he can't play football because back-to-back injuries. I mean, you understand? Ronald Araujo, who needed a mental health break in the middle of the season, I hope the grass is green on the other side, and you know, maybe the London, maybe the weather in England would be better for him. I honestly hope he could also go and rejuvenate his career. I don't think that the Hansi Flick highline suited him at all. I think it exposed him. He's still a very rash.
It was similar style.
Centre back, and he went. He have figured out. Well, the thing is, he have figured out over there. You understand? I ain't worried about him figuring it out because he over there. You know. I hope to get a player back or at least get some market value. There's a buy option, I think, included as well. So we'll see what happens there. Obviously, we have to talk about this this departure from Ferran Torres. Not something I think the club would have planned for. But given that he in the final year of his contract, I don't think that anybody in Barcelona was stopping Ferran Torres. And is no disrespect, a World Cup final winning goal has weight. I just do not think that he understood the currency of a World Cup winning goal. A World Cup winning goal that is the crowning moment of a tournament of great performances is very different from you being the person to get the team over the line. And it just speaks volume to the type of striker that this person is. Let me get an example. You went on this world tour after you scored this goal, you're getting claps and applause, rightly so, from all around these different spaces. Then you start hearing, oh, what Barcelona needs to do to keep you and make you feel valued and this and that. A set of loaded questions interviewers asking you, obviously already been prepped from before. I don't know if it's your agents or whatever, but all of a sudden there's talk about your future and your contract and your dream team. My brother, Barcelona signed you when we were broke. Dead broke. For $55 million. We sign you. Pep bench player, we sign you. We pick you out of every option we could have gotten at that time. We sign you before we sign Lewandowski. We sign you. You play over everybody. You get multiple opportunities and so on. At best, you are an inconsistent striker.
So here we are.
He's one of the most frustrated players I ever had
So another
in the
one
front
coming in.
line. That's what I say now. I don't think that the club planned to let go Ferran Torres, but a player that wants to leave is a player that has to go. That's our philosophy. Obviously, Atletico Madrid do see things that way.
Because I see in Ferran Torres and Lewandowski out the door and no replacement, but Karim Adeyemi and Anthony Gordon, and I smiling still.
To a certain extent, but what I would say is given the balance of play from last season, obviously a lot of the goals came from those two players. So I don't see immediately the likes of Rafinha or Yamal putting in those goals immediately. So I was really and truly looking forward to a statement signing. When I heard the Julian Alvarez rumors for the force, I thought, well, okay, that makes sense. But obviously, didn't say his contract, the price tag. I'm not sure why it's taking this long for us to, go and get a replacement or get an alternative. What I will say, however, and this might just be blind faith, but I just go and talk from my years of experience watching Barcelona play. The Rodri signing is a game changer in many more ways than one. Rodri is not going to score all of those goals. But I definitely think it's going to change structurally a lot of the issues that we had in maintaining some sort of solidity while trying to pile on the pressure and seek goals. And that in itself might present more opportunities to these forwards who are incredibly talented and can put the ball in the back of the net to start scoring goals. When I think of the best Hansi Flick team from the Bayern era, it wasn't like the Bayern now with Harry Kane being the one that is really charging out most of the output. I mean, of course, Lewandowski was doing that, but I'm talking about the level of wing play and the level of involvement. I'm just hoping that we can get that, and perhaps there's been moments when we've had to play a false nine or something like that. If that's the situation, I'm going to be honest with you, I'd much rather my club don't buy somebody that we either don't need, can't afford, or anything like that. I find with sitting and waiting in the market for a year for a striker to become available. Strikers are very scarce and far in between in world football right now. We have a young Hamza, who has been impressive. Not that we want to pile that kind of weight on his shoulders, but young players have come through at Barcelona and done a job in a season and impressed and so forth. So I'm waiting to see the window still open so we can see, but that's where we are already.
I hire on Barca because Barca have continuity, right? Whereas we'll get to us, Madrid. Barca have continuity, and like we mentioned, Rodri is going into a team with at least 5-6 of the teammates that he just won the World Cup with. So there's adding a leader that they didn't have before. And if we're being really team lacked leadership in big moments, because if you look at the way that they were eliminated in Champions League over the past few years, it's just little details, fine details. They weren't necessarily humiliated in all of the years that they were eliminated. It was just fine margins here or there, and that's something that Rodri could definitely tidy up. The reason I'm high on them again is because I've seen Hansi Flick with a front three. I feel like you could give Hansi Flick a front three with base stick, like 3-stick, and they go score real goals still. So just the fact that they have added solidity in the midfield, that they're going to get the possession numbers even higher. It will be interesting to see him in transition, Rodri, because the kind of control that Spain had, it won't be the same kind of control that Barca has, especially with the Kamikaze high line. still gonna be a lot of moments in transition where he's gonna be caught, running backwards, basically, and that will be the interesting part because it's all well and dandy when he has the ball at his feet and he and Pedri are making 1,000 passes between them. But when they lose possession and they come up against a team who is ready to counter-attack them, that is when, and especially in Europe, that's when the fate will be told for him because Rodri was excellent over an 8-9 game tournament at the World Cup, but over this season for Man City, he was very average, very poor. Very poor.
And injured.
You understand me? The same Rodri that played in the World Cup is the same Rodri that got eliminated in 2 legs against Real Madrid, the same Real Madrid poor midfield that we're going to get to. So we have to keep that in mind. What we saw from Rodri at the World Cup was over a short space of time, over a 38 game season and the Champions League. It will be interesting to see how he'll adapt to Spain. Spain is less physical though than England, so that will work in his favor. What will also work in his favor is the quality in depth that Barca has in midfield as well, because Rodri wouldn't be required to play every single minute, right? He'll definitely be rested for the bigger games. They still have the likes of Bonal, who they are confident in to play against any opponent. So it's not like Rodri is going to be used like a bar of soap. So this is why I'm high on Barca. The fact that Flick could propel any attack, they're going to score loads of goals. Rafinha is back fit. Remember, he was out for a lot of last season. Yamal has the confidence of being a World Cup champion, and he knows that he had a poor World Cup and will be wanting to, get his name back out there, up amongst the best players in the world. Because right now, the likes of Michael Olise has a higher standing in football than him because based on the ending of the season and the World Cup. So Yamal will have a bone to pick. Rafinha is back fully fit. They've added 2 speedsters. And that's the kind of game that Hansi Flick trying to play. Hansi Flick ain't trying to play this whole opposition thing. So this is why I kind of conflicted with Rodri too in a way, because we saw Rodri and Pedri didn't work for Spain. So it will be very interesting. But I'm high on them, whereas you were high on Madrid last year. Both of us were. I'm a bit more pessimistic this round, and we'll get to that.
Yeah, bro. Not much I could add. We know we're getting from a Hansi Flick team. And that's why I alluded to the fact that the amount of goals are left. And I was not really talking about Ferran Torres. I was talking about the quality striker that level and what was RD. Even as a shell of what he was, you would still take him. You get me? And
over Ferran Torres.
Over Ferran. And I just feel like Adeyemi, who had chances in the Champions League final against Real Madrid.
I never forget.
I can't forget them saying that, bro. Would he be as prolific? Would he be as clinical?
I don't feel like that. If you feel what's the best front three for Barca right now?
Rafinha.
La Liga is Sunday. Who you feel is gonna start?
I feel like going to have be Lamine, Gardner, Rafinha.
And I feel like that's very serviceable. I feel like that could create real goals. Like I probably overplaying the influence of Hansi Flick, but based on where we seen, I feel like he could propel them guys and he will score.
Personally, Rodri, Pedri, and
it will be Danny Olmo, I feel.
No, not yet. Either Bonal or Gavi in the midfield.
And play for me.
Almo
false nine.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's an option as well. But this is what I'm saying. They're not really shorter options. And if Olmo does play in the false nine, as he said, Gavi can play in midfield, Foreman can play in midfield. They have numbers. De Jong is out, but I don't feel like them not necessarily having this number 9 profile is a problem, really and truly, if we're talking about goals. Versus certain teams, it might be hard to break down a low block without a number 9, and I am so glad that we brought in Carlos SP for something like that, right? But versus most teams,
and most teams is going to be
versus most teams is going to be a low block, especially in La Liga. But I just feel like the way Flick set up his teams and they have goals in it.
I mean, the intricate ball, nice crisp short passes and movement.
And Yamal magic.
It walks in a
bro. When the low blocks, right? Remember we're playing this highline, the highline at times. And it's a part of Barcelona's game that people haven't been talking about. The team counter-attacks, And we often find ourselves, I don't really want to put this in this kind of tactical way, but we find ourselves counter-attacking the counter-attack, just transition basically. Where as soon as you think, we have, because the line is high and all of us can bump forward with one ball, Oftentimes is when teams are coming out is when we're catching them.
My only downfall, my weakness for Barca, I think, is still in the defense because all the same thing that I mentioned with Rodri and Pedri not fitting at Spain applies for Pau Kubasi as well, because the way that Kubasi plays when he's for the Spanish national team is completely different than when he's playing for Barca, because at Barca he's asked to defend an extremely high line and half of the running back all the time and always prone to a red card. And his partners, whoever his partner is gonna be, who is Pau Kubasi's partner as we speak?
Pau Kubasi's partner as we speak, based on preseason,
Gerard
is
Martin.
Gerard Martin.
You understand? That wouldn't fill me with much confidence if we're being real. Jules Koundé and Cancelo left back. Jules Koundé right, Cancelo left. Balde.
Cancelo seems to be the utility player who can replace either of Balde or Koundé.
So in your opinion, strongest
And
11 for Sunday?
even sometimes, like recently in the season ending, Cancelo was actually playing in forward sometimes.
So strongest back four for Sunday.
Juan Garcia,
Eric
Pau
Garcia?
Kubasi, Eric Garcia,
Right back.
Koundé,
Or Garcia playing with?
centre back.
Okay. So now Gerard Martin.
No, I won't start him in centre back.
And Balde left.
Balde left.
First. But I feel like that is Barca weak point and not necessarily them lacking a number 9. I feel the defense.
No,
I
feel-
don't want
I
say too much about Eric Garcia, but I think he has improved.
Yeah,
tremendously.
no, for sure.
But
For
I
sure.
feel like
I think once he gets some rhythm in there, it might be.
I don't feel like he's a starter.
I just based on what I've watched, how I've watched his hands
Gerard.
for the last 2 years, I don't think any defender stopping we from conceding the goal.
No, but if you bring back in Inigo Martinez type profile leader to play alongside Kubasi, you saw the best out of him.
Well, I heard we were trying to get Laporte, but
yeah.
obviously we
Financial
know why that would be
constraints.
hard. Why that would be hard. I don't know. I just don't feel. I
If
don't
that-
think
if- okay,
the
if-
best defender in the world going to stop me from conceding in the system, and I kind of don't make my peace with it as a fan. So clearly, the club who making the decisions, they have made their peace.
If Barca doesn't sign a defender before the window closes and that's the defense they're going the season with, I would share some of your confidence, because that defense, to be honest, isn't the best.
excuse me, that was what I said. you had them deficiencies there all the time, right? But you had something to compensate for.
Extreme goal
I'm telling you, bro,
output.
don't underestimate the movement of a number 9 still. There are some movements, man, number 9 making
You can't tell me
You get me,
we're
brother?
facing the same problem.
They know, because they
So-
spend the whole summer chasing Julian Alvarez.
So I
We
really
know.
feel like unless they replace the number 9, bro,
But I
they're
keep
going to
saying
be in for some
it's-
problems
that is
with
within
them,
the shop.
with Adeyemi.
And I feel like
and-
I feel they're
shop,
gonna be
not
in
in the
problems.
shop,
They're gonna be
not in
more
the
in
shop.
problems in the Champions League. More so
Nothing
than
in the
more so
shop.
than
La Liga.
Yeah, but
Nothing in the shop. I would love more than anything in the world to say all in Haaland come.
maybe in a couple seasons.
You understand? We don't got it like that, and it's not even available like that on the market, and then the market
The
so
latest
inflated.
striker I saw Twitter linked was Lautaro
Lautaro.
Martinez.
Insane selling Lautaro.
No,
Anyhow, over to Real Madrid. Real Madrid come into this campaign after back-to-back trophy.
We win in the league.
Thanks be to God. Jose Mourinho is back at the helm for his second stint, and he will be looking to instill this discipline, balance, and structure to a team that was lacking in those areas desperately. I mean, the summer revolution has helped, but one can't help but notice that the team still feels a bit imbalanced. Major signings, plenty. Dumfries, Marc Cucurella, because Madrid insists you must have a World Cup winner. Come on. Konate, Bernardo Silva, Carlos Espi, Yan Diomande, and Hendrick has returned from loan.
You know what I'm hearing?
Man.
You know, that the sweet song that squad them. That the sweet song that competition in positions. Dumfries and Trent. Whew. So when Trent struggling, he just bring on this workhorse here. For the,
Dumfries.
what you saying? Okay, alright, cool. Cucurella over the other side, and you want a little bit more pizzazz, a little attacking, you bring in Carreras. Whew. Dropping a little ball over there. Alright, cool.
No
Cool.
momentum.
The only place I feel we lacking right now, my body,
momentum.
is
No
one
momentum.
centre back. We need one
Yeah,
centre back,
that's
bro.
it.
Nah.
Just to get with that extra depth. Whether it's Konate starting with Hoyce and
centre back still?
I feel like that would be the starting.
that's cool. But if we could get another centre back still, reinforce things a little bit, because bro,
I don't think one coming.
I could get rid of Rudiger for my liking, bro.
I agree.
You get me?
But they already signed him to a 1 year.
Fair game. But
Departures. Alaba, Carvajal, Ceballos, Mastantuano, and Fran Garcia.
yeah, that's
All great departures, if we're being fair.
I
And
tell
they
you.
were adequately replaced.
ain't but no I. Eminem gone in Fiorentina, he doing the dog, it seems like, you know, Ceballos been just taking up a nice like a way to send the children them school and them kind of thing, you know, it does go.
True.
But to be fair, bro, Bernardo Silva going to be a big plus in terms of the ball retention, ability to beat the press. Just to play with defenders or pressers whenever he feels like, because he's one of the best dribblers in the world from when since.
I'm sure if you watch so many friendlies, but he has hold on to it
Too long.
sometime.
Yes. But I kind of like it still because it still drags players onto him. I told Baz earlier, you know, if he gets caught, then it's problem. I mean, like, because the same issues I had with Pritash. And because Pritash ain't get punished, them things get sweep under the rug. But Bernardo Silva is a plus. We just need the right piece next to him. We have tons and tons of options.
What you feel is the best option? Just like an Axe Prime with Barca 11 for
I
Sunday.
feel
What
like-
you feel? I feel like Bernardo would start. And I also, before you get to Bellingham, because I feel Bellingham will start for sure too. But I don't feel Bellingham should start. Like the first game at least. Because the
feel-
kind of farm Gula been showing in preseason, bro, Gula deserves to start.
That's fair. But I feel Gula only gave you one aspect of the game, and that's why Bellingham beating him. So while Bellingham still go give, he ain't getting the creativity that
he ain't
Gula
looking
get,
as
of
pretty
course,
as
right?
Gula either.
But he could still get some of that and then a lot on the other end. I feel like that winning points in Mourinho book every single day.
True.
I want Gula to start too, bro, but we know what's going to happen.
So
Unless they plug and play him on the right hand side and use him as,
I don't see that happening.
because we spend 140 mil on the hand.
Yeah,
Man.
yeah.
Over, so it's Bellingham,
Be nice.
Bernardo Silva, and I feel it can be Tchouaméni.
True. I don't feel like the captain will get bench. I feel like Valverde can start for sure. It would be very, very crazy, I think. Because Tchouaméni ain't playing in preseason either.
Yeah,
Tchouaméni ain't playing.
Can he come back late from?
He was injured too. So I expect Valverde to start. If anything, Camavinga is the only other player. Camavinga was playing more minutes than Tchouaméni. But like when everybody is fit and everybody is up to speed, I still feel like Valverde will start. But I don't feel like Tchouaméni and Valverde will start too.
I feel like if Valverde start, that's where the unbalance come from.
True. With Silva. But
Bernardo Silva could still give you creativity that Bellingham can't give you. If it's anything, the switch between them in the pivot, you know, that could happen. Bellingham probably sit back a little for the time being, like Bernardo Silva take over things. So that could happen. But I feel like putting Valverde, Bernardo Silva, and Bellingham, I feel you ain't getting this because positioning. Nobody in this squad offers the positioning in the midfield that Tchouaméni going to give you.
Yeah.
Valverde is a box-to-box. Bellingham is a 10. Bernardo Silva is a 10. And
I feel we can see games with Bellingham playing deep as well.
And I ain't gonna mind seeing it. I have real faith in Jose for work it out. I have real confidence that he can make crybaby shut him out, make dictator sit aside and run things, my buddy. That's where I have confidence in. We win in the league, we win in every single Clasico in the season, and bring it all come.
Yeah.
Sorry, brother. Bring it all home.
Hear that? I share similar sentiments in terms of the depth, because the depth is gonna be a big plus for us this season. It's something that we didn't have over the past few seasons, and I don't understand why Ancelotti was never back like this. Every time Jose Mourinho is at the club, he just put on your foot and request signing, and I absolutely love that, because we too deep in almost every position right now, to right back, to left back, like you say. It's two positions. Camavinga, Tchouaméni, Valverde, and Bernardo Silva are fighting. Gula and Bellingham fighting for the 10.
Brahim and
Diomande.
Rodrigo and Vini.
Yeah, Rodrigo and Vini.
Espian.
Espian and the Dictator. we know them man ain't getting much minutes, really and truly. I feel like you say, Jose could rein in, if there's any coach.
Yes, bro.
If there's any coach.
And
if it don't work with you, it ain't work
then
with
it ain't
nobody.
working
It
at
ain't
all.
work with nobody.
Funny enough, right?
Every Clasico.
With all of the depth and the quality, I am actually anticipating some toxicity from Real Madrid this season. It's coming.
No, Mourinho.
Mourinho
That's
done
his-
any
that's-
Z, me boy.
that's his.
My boy
Mourinho
done
is the
any
coach.
Z.
No,
I
but that's
want-
his way of coaching.
Wow, watch me. Watch me. Mark my words, between Jose Mourinho, Kylian Mbappe, and Vinicius Jr., just watch.
No, just watch why you can't just
Just
put it on.
no,
Say something.
Just
Say something.
watch.
Just watch
I
what?
know. I'm not sure.
Just watch
how
you win a
much
treble.
Poland-
Say something.
No.
Don't
Madrid
just
never win a
don't
treble.
give it. No.
All right.
Say
No.
something.
Just watch.
But I even hot.
I don't think even okay. Even if it doesn't affect the trophy haul in the end, my brother, in the middle of the season here, you are going to see them same issues with the leadership of the club coming up, because Mourinho, as much as Mourinho does get his players to play for him, watch me, Mourinho is a toxic figure, and everybody does forget it at the starting of Mourinho's stint with a new club. When Mourinho started with a new club, it's always, he the special one, he going rain and everything, this and that. The minute it have some sort of issue and Mourinho start to run him out in the press and this and that, the wheels and them just fall off. It has happened to several projects. And I can't believe we're talking about Jose Mourinho in 2026, like in the context of them thing they ain't happen yet.
No, we know them things they happen. me
Them
buddy.
thing they
But
happen
that's why we
multiple
saying,
clubs all over.
If he can't get it done, then it's sadness. If Mourinho can't,
That's why I
get
say I
these guys-
anticipating toxicity. That's why I say I anticipating
I
it. That's why I
optimistic.
anticipating it.
I
Based on what
really
I don't see
optimistic.
from Vinny, even before Mbappe come to this club. Then what I seeing with Mbappe. Then what I seeing what I know what Jose Mourinho does do and what he going to be. Especially after things like defeats and them kind of thing. I don't know what it is about the atmosphere, but it does just tend to spill over. Hopefully, he keep it under control. But I telling you, I did hear rocking back, just watching the scene because I just anticipating it.
Well, that's why we're here, though. Just leave a pan the surface take and for it to
I
interpret.
rocking back and anticipating.
No, and rightfully you should, because
toxicity.
you should rightfully, because like I mentioned to Dappy, I don't share his optimism because I know all of the history of Jose Mourinho as well. I know he is outdated tactically. I know in a matchup between he and Hansi Flick is a mismatch tactically, but on the field it could be a different thing, because like you mentioned, we are 100 speed. We are 100
I don't
speed.
feel like
I
it-
don't know.
don't
It's
feel
mind
like it
games and
any-
this and that with Mourinho, and I don't know who we coming for getting El Clasico.
feel like it ain't anything
I don't know
hard
the
for
road
Mourinho.
we going down here now. When I see how they do that, I bring back Jose. I just watch up in the sky. I just say, boy, better than by Haaland.
Attacking wing back, inverted wing back, while inverted wing back when Kaza backs midfield, they give away for.
Cuckoo. Trent.
Bro, I ain't feel like he as outdated as we think. I feel like we need it because Madrid hardly could have beat him. You get
With
me?
Benfica.
Exactly, bro. I don't feel like he as outdated as we think.
I just can't listen.
No, I like-
Maybe I have PTSD from.
I like
from
Mourinho.
the
I like the
comparison.
fact that Mourinho they are no friend thing with the rivals. I like that side of things. I appreciate that side of things, and he brings an edge, and that does affect the play. And that could definitely bridge the gap in the midfield, because it's only in the midfield they beating we, and that's where they just beat we, and that's where they will continue for beat we. You understand? But if it again turn into a chat meet, you understand? Basically, we have guns on the field and on the bench to counter attack that. But I'm very pessimistic until I see.
Yeah, you switch this season.
Yeah, we definitely switch this season. I have no problem going into this season with pessimism, because if we go in
Mind
based off,
games all the time.
no,
Nah.
no.
Try that.
Are you serious?
No, that you know
I'm
that
very
is usually a
serious.
pessimistic one, and
Culture.
I'm the one who's oh, winning Champions League, winning this, winning that. No,
I very serious.
based on where and I ain't even going on the Mbappe thing neither, bro. This is a new season, a starting from scratch. You understand? From fresh, no Mbappe criticism, no dictator thing, no imbalance in the attack thing. Yeah, Vinny get a new contract, Vinny have nothing else for sure.
Yeah,
Shoot
new
about
chin.
again. Yeah, new chin, wearing beads this season. You understand? So nobody has nothing to complain about. And so I give everybody a fresh
They don't have
slate.
time for comment.
Fresh
They
slate,
don't have
dog.
for that.
Fresh slate,
They
bro.
don't have for that. Over to the prison. Jail warden Diego Simeone will be looking to play spoiler as usual to break up the El Clasico duopoly. One has to assume that he's coming to the end of his time at the club. However, especially sorry if they go another season without silverware. But I guess that's, Atletico is fine with never winning anything. As long as they knock Barcelona out of competitions, I guess. It's going to continue to be good. They made some good signings, as they usually do. Let's be fair here. Christian Romero, Kangin Lee, absolutely wonderful player in my opinion. Alejandro Grimaldo, somebody that I'm not sure why Barcelona wasn't going for this player. When I saw Atleti got him for about 35 million, I was like, what we doing? But anyhow, maybe, we Bruce. As well as Morten Hillman. Departures, of course, Antoine Griezmann has called it quits. He's over in the MLS as he always planned. Molina is gone, Ugari is gone, and Thomas Lemar is gone as well. Bear in mind, Atletico have already played and won their first game against Malaga 2-0. Goals from Carlos Baena and Baena and Kangin Lee.
Champion Alex Baena. Big up.
As we saw them present at the start of the game. Weird or fake game?
Nah, that's fair. That's fair. I guess we're gonna see the same when Barca play at the.
And I just wasn't looking for it.
I think that's customary. Yeah. That's customary.
With like the
World Cup
replica,
winner.
the replica trophy.
The replica, yeah.
Nah,
I don't think it's the real thing though. I don't think it's the real thing.
Maybe I haven't had an opportunity to see that at my club for a while. We haven't really had.
Yeah, you'll see when Barca get the first home game. You'll definitely see a big situation there.
All right.
But for Atleti, bro, I don't expect anything much more than what we saw from them last season. To be honest.
Free Julian.
Yeah, you understand? Just a cup upset here or there, a UCL upset here or there.
Free my homie Julian.
You understand? Not much to shout about. As you mentioned, some quality additions, I'd say. Christian Romero is a big upgrade to whatever they had in the defense. Kangin Lee is a quality player.
Free Alvarez.
Grimaldo starting on the left back, very good upgrade. And Hullman in the midfield too. So Pablo Barrios and still had the likes of Llorente and Koke. Them is much of the same. It's much of the same.
I can't add too much to that except for the Julian Alvarez situation, not to show how much trouble that will cause in the camp in terms of, their
if he stays, if he goes.
I just don't understand Atleti. This is the second time one of your star players is crying and moaning about going to Barcelona, and you're making it a whole issue for the second time in a row.
The man saying a whole long contract. How long?
Until 2030 something.
I ain't say break it, and he just saying he wants to roll.
You're wrong.
Well, he ran for sign it, but if you keep him, just know you're keeping a player who has said publicly on the ball's biggest stage that he does not want to play for your club anymore. And he thinks the best thing for all parties is a transfer.
Nah, he think the best thing for all parties is a transfer to Barcelona. Right. And Atletico don't think that's the best for their party in that situation. Cool. So I understand Atletico stance.
So they could continue to move like, he has a contract and we need him. But if it was Arsenal,
yes.
Here you go.
PSG, here you go.
Cool, because y'all are our rivals.
Correct.
In La Liga. I ain't got disrespect all y'all, and that's what they every now and again.
If they do that, bro, what message are they sending to their fans? Like, you know what I'm saying? Not because you care about
the bigger club.
This is what I'm saying.
Well, that's the message.
That's the message they would send. And they as you mentioned, they not you guys out of both so they would not want to say that after what happened, and then they would feel like a small club. So I understand. I could still see it happening.
But I just vex with my club because my club does continually put myself in some kind of situations. It's fine to want to sign Julian Alvarez, but Jesus, man, not like this. So publicly in front of the whole world for a whole summer and make it so obvious that you have no plan B, no real backup. Unless Deco cooking up something and I just talking and he going bust me more like how he bust me more with Rodri and just push. If it's that, big up yourself.
We'll come back to this.
La Liga predictions. Relegation zone.
I going with Malaga, Levante, and Elche to be relegated. Malaga is the only team that would be newly promoted that would be going back down. Out of those three teams. So I have Racing and Deportivo La Coruña staying up.
Deportivo staying up, definitely. Deportivo have Aubameyang.
It was
Aubameyang done scoring, Deportivo staying up.
and I think Racing also got a good result on the weekend against Villarreal 2-2. I think they would do well over the course of the season as well. And I could see Levante and Elche dropping down, even though Elche does play some good stuff.
Oh, Elche.
They have Alvaro. No, Alvaro went to Bournemouth.
Top scorer,
Kylian.
third one in a row.
Yeah, that's what he come there for.
Yeah, that's his joy and his pleasure.
That's what he come there for.
That's his joy.
Top assister.
Go on first.
I say Yamal.
Vinny Jr.
I say Yamal. Like I said, the reasoning is just the speech track race that Barca have in the front three. With Rafinha, Gordon. I could see Yamal just getting a holy passes.
Popping up. Best player.
Mbappe.
Vinny Jr.
Wow. Mbappe, I would say.
I'm looking for 15-20 kind of season.
15-20. In the league, how comes?
In the league, it'll be 15-15.
15-15.
Yeah.
There you go. That's what
15-15 Vinny Jr. Especially with that chin there. Come on, boy.
Top 4.
I go in Barca to win the championship and Madrid in second, with Atletico third and Real Betis in fourth. The only other team I could see challenging there, sorry for the top 4, before you go that is Athletic Club and maybe Villarreal. But I go in with Betis.
Yeah, I go off agree with Betis and I just flipping the top 2 because Historia que hiciste.
Historia por hacer. Yeah. I go in
A la
Barca.
Madrid.
To see 3 straight consecutive La Liga titles is something I haven't seen at Barcelona or in La Liga in a long time. And I think Hansi Flick can do it. I genuinely believe that Hansi Flick can do it because I did not have the confidence in him doing it last season. I genuinely thought that with the firepower that Madrid had, and the kind of questions surrounding the defense, the highlight and so on. But let me be very clear here. Rodri is the signing of the summer, and I think Hansi Flick deserved to get a signing like that, or at least get a window like this way. We haven't really given him all the tools that he needs because we're still not able to do that. But my God, if he's been able to do what he's been doing with a few La Masia talents and some experience here and there.
Okay, so we get it that you think Barca can win the league. We want to know if you think so that means I win the Champions League too. That way you're telling me? That way I want.
I think that we're going to be in the semi-finals of the competition once again for sure. I am not sure about us winning.
Now once again, because you ain't been in the last year.
As
So
in
don't
with
do me
Hansi-
that.
With Hansi Flick. With
One
Hansi-
out of 2 years you reach there. So do once again.
I feel
Sorry,
like I
sorry,
could
sorry,
say once
sorry,
again.
sorry.
I feel
Sorry.
like I could say
Sorry.
we're going to be there once again.
sorry.
We ain't been the last year. We've been the year before.
I don't like
and
I don't like
you
bring the
ask
classical
me-
tension.
You
eh?
ask me
But I
if
have
we're
to.
going to win.
I have to.
And I feel like we're going to make semis once again.
Hey, why are pressuring Barca fans this time? Because bro.
And me ain't gonna let nobody tell my team we have to win Champions League for my season be a success. We have back-to-back league champions. We been down to the Europa League down in the dirt. We back up here now. We ain't win it in 11 years. Yes, we know.
Underdog
And we are
gimmick.
trying.
Underdog gimmick. China underdog gimmick.
I'm sorry, I can't be the Champions League favourites and a team
China
now win it
underdog
back-to-back.
gimmick. China underdog
And
gimmick.
a team now win it
But you
back-to-back.
are one of the favorites. After Arsenal and
yes,
PSG,
you know,
after
yes.
after
If
the
I
two
make
finalists,
semis, if I make semis, I have
after
to be a
the
favourite.
the two
If
finalists,
I
you
make
is
it-
the
if I
favorite.
don't say it from
And I
now,
go
I make
I go
it
pull you
semis.
over Barca. I go pull you over Arsenal.
If I say it from now, I'm making semis.
Yeah.
But if I say it from now, I'm making semis, I have to be one of the favorites. It's 4 team in the semifinals.
I go pull you over Arsenal all thing.
Wow.
It's 4 team in the
Yeah.
semifinals. I'm here running no
I forget Bayern.
but
I
all
forget
I
Bayern.
saying is,
I forget Bayern.
I am the fan who has been watching for the last 11 years without winning. I find it fine for me say Champions League hard for win.
All I'm saying is
In my
this year-
experience,
this year,
Champions League hard
see
to win.
You
So
see
me and Putin,
Them man-
if I'm my team,
them
for say,
man-
if I don't win Champions League, then I get vexed with my team for the whole
Them
season.
man get rid of Ferran, who they been chanting. Them man
Yeah.
get rid of Testegen, who they been chanting.
Well,
they
he
get
been
rid
playing.
of Araujo, who they been chanting. They
Yeah,
have
'cause he
no
been getting
more.
red card
They
in-
may have no more
he been getting
scapegoat.
red card in
No more
the past.
scapegoat.
Two-
No more
in two
excuse.
different games.
This you have to win the Champions League this year.
No, we enough to win Champions.
You're the best player in the world, the best DM in the world, the best young defender in the world.
No,
Pedri, the best
we have to
midfielder in
win
the world.
Champions League. We ain't taking them label day.
Pressure.
We ain't taking them label day. We ain't not have to win.
Pressure always on my club and I don't get tricked on.
If you tell me I have to win La Liga, I fine with that.
Don't run the under
Tell me I have to win La Liga.
Champions League are
Don't
boss.
tell me I have to win La
Champions League are boss.
No, my season can't boss with La Liga.
Well, fair.
My season can never
Well,
boss with me
fair.
winning my league.
Fair,
It could never boss.
fair.
When I win my league, that the main competition, 38 game.
Fair.
38 game.
Well, go out
if
in
I
the-
win
go out
my
in the
league,
quarterfinal
if I
again.
win my
Go out in-
league,
go
it
out.
cannot be a boss.
Well, let Madrid win the
season.
Champions League, you win the
It
league, and we will
cannot
see
be
who
a
happier.
boss
We will see
season.
who happier.
But Ali, that's always happy once Ali win Champions League.
Happier than who win the league.
But Ali always happy once Ali win Champions League. That why Ali does want to win. Ali does say so. Ali does say Ali don't okay about La Liga.
Nah, you ain't
Ali does say
Nah, say
Ali
do
don't
okay.
okay. But La Liga, when especially
Don't
when Ali
generalize
ain't
it.
winning it.
Don't generalize it. Don't
Madrid
generalize
fans,
it.
especially in the comments,
No.
when Ali winning La Liga,
Don't
we don't care
generalize
about La
it.
Liga.
It's not a black and white.
When
bro.
Ali winning La Liga, big boss parade.
No. It's
When
level.
Ali don't win
prefer
Copa del
the
Rey,
big
Copa del Rey,
we
what
put
nothing.
Is level of
When Ali win
importance.
Copa del Rey, Kings of Spain.
Nah, you can't pull up.
Copa del Rey.
You can't pull up no tweet or nothing saying none of that from none of
Copa del Rey.
Kings of Spain. When Ali
Copa del Rey.
When Ali don't win Copa del Rey, it don't be nothing.
Since
When Ali
I
win
alive-
Boss parade.
Since I alive, it's like two
Boss
Copa del Rey
parade.
win, bro. Two.
Boss parade, a man Japan trophy.
Bro, all I saying is, bro, Barca has been a consistent winning juggernaut over the past 2 seasons. You understand? They are one of the biggest clubs in the world. They added the World Cup Golden Ball winner. I would think it's fair for them to have the expectation to win the competition. Because when Madrid go in the competition, semi-final is disappointment.
Is the first thing.
Semi-final is disappointment.
Is the first thing.
And thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Is the thing that the
Thank you very much.
Is the thing that the captain said.
Thanks for helping my
However,
point.
what I said, and I will say it again, Barcelona not winning the Champions League is not season
Well,
equal
tell
failure.
Rodri so. That's what he
Simple.
now say. That way he now say.
We not winning the Champions League is not season equal failure.
Rodri-
That is all I will say.
Rodri come
That is
Barca to
all
win
I
the
will
Champions
say.
League.
He says so. He have a season to prove that.
You understand? So I
He have a season to prove that.
I high on Barca and I expecting big things from Barca this season.
That is fine. We like to have support. We like.
I won't call it support.
expectation.
I won't call it support at
No,
all.
we like to have
It's if anything is the opposite of support,
No,
but
it's
it's
a fine line between
expectation.
love and hate. A very fine line. So it's all right. We appreciate the support
So we'll get
because
to
we know you will be there with us
every
no matter-
every step of the way.
Right.
Every
No
game I
matter
will
what.
be watching.
Right.
Every game.
And Prime has promised you that we'll be there.
I will be getting a show too. It's
Right,
guys
so-
goals galore.
So don't fret. Don't fret. We'll be there. But all I saying is, no Champions League is not a failure.
We'll get
of
to
a
the
season.
Champions League predictions next week after the Jamaica too.
Silas, any predictions on the other leagues? Yeah, not really touching too much. I don't think it's necessary to predict the Bundesliga or to predict League One
Yeah, either.
this year. If y'all want to.
And I
yeah.
feel like in Syria, Inter real strong. And I just usually try to hype up the competition between the rest of the teams. But Milan
There's a gap.
floundering.
There's a gap.
You know, Como has been exciting, if we
Fabregas.
must say. Under them, I'm looking forward to see them in the Champions League as well. Juventus, neither here nor there. You know what I'm saying? So I could see Inter retaining again.
Just look out for my boy Ruben.
Who talking about? Amarim? Barros? Rough boy.
Barrows
Rough.
boy. Barrows boy.
I'm going to be back in Madrid still. Every
Hold
step
listen,
of the way.
hold listen. I guess we could award the man on the match to the best signing you've seen for the transfer window so far. Who's that?
Put me on the spot there. Because I had a different... We could do that, but my man at the match is the Bangladesh cricket team.
Oh, actual player performance.
Yeah. My man at the match is the entire Bangladesh cricket team. They went to Australia and defeated Australia in a test match. I think that's for the first time ever in Australia as well. the second test is set to bowl off whenever, but the fact that they went there and even won one game is extremely impressive.
Yeah, they are to make 57 runs in the final innings.
Yeah,
so
they nearly do have 2 for 1. Nearly do have 2 for 1 against.
Man.
And Australia had their main players out there as well. So credit to Bangladesh and the progress that the cricket has made over the past, history.
All right. Well, we'll leave it right there.
Well, I just want to shout out Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang because it was some goal he scored on the weekend for Deportivo La Coruña. It came over his shoulder. He took it down with his right foot, I think, and then smashed it. And he said that it was left foot, 37 years old and still looking.
I just say in my head, so we can call him for like a.
Still looking real polished.
And we mentioned before we start to Mariano Diaz 2-2 in La Liga so far.
Right. I think Mariano exiled to the
Yes, Mariano is another shout for man of the match
that
this
brings
week.
us to the end of today's episode of Global Sports from a Caribbean perspective. It's good to be back. It's good to have sports and football kicking again.
Before we
have
go,
some other sports coming in, but before we have a huge announcement.
Big up
to Ty Clark signing his multi-year pro contract. The 18-year-old forward has signed his first professional contract with Inter Toronto through the 2028 CPL season, with club options for 2029 and 2030 as well. Remember that Ty is an international with SVG under 17 and under 20, as well as with the senior level. Now, Ty becomes the latest Inter Toronto pathway player to secure his long-term future with the first team, and we extend a huge congratulations to
Big up yourself, Ty.
The team here at GSCP. Keep flying the flag, keep pushing, youngster, and great things will be ahead. We're looking forward to some bad ball too.
For sure.
Man.
And shout out the Vinci under 14 team who doing very well right now.
For real.
Our male volleyball team also deserves a shout out, returning back victorious as well.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've been on, so there's a lot of shout outs.
Yeah, a lot of shout outs to go. But we'll get things, we not force everything in today's episode. We're gonna catch you again where we'll continue to break down the best games, the best teams, the best players, and give you the best things on all things global sports through a Caribbean lens. I'm your host Prime. I'm here with my boy
Shabba.
and we turn passion into purpose. Remember, it's one GSCP. We keep it global. Remember to follow, like, comment, share, subscribe. One GSCP.
We'll be back Monday.
Global.